Okay, so I was asked what you would do if the police show up at your home. You go to the door and you check, and there's a couple of police officers waiting, wanting to come in. Do you open the door? Do you let them into the house? Those are issues that are important and happens a lot. And if you don't know what your rights are, you could find that you or your family members are getting into problems and potential criminal charges that could cost you a lot of money down the road. So in the event the police are there with a warrant, that's a completely different circumstance. That gives them the authority to enter into your home, but there's a different set of rules and obligations that you have when the police enter your home with a warrant, and you should know what you should be doing then and what you should not be doing. That's very different than when police show up at your home because somebody either from your home called the police, or it could be that a neighbor called the police. Now, what happens if the police are at your home because there was a call made from your home, whether it was an accidental 911 dial, because the police have an obligation to investigate and check any phone call. At any point, if you dial 911 and you hang up, the police will show up because they don't know why that number was dialed. So what is the best approach to deal with the police when they show up at your home? There may have been some dispute between yourself, your wife, or your husband, or your children. It happens. People get charged for assaulting their sons and daughters and wives get charged for assaulting their husbands. But once the police have been notified and nothing's been said on the phone, they still come in to check. So first and foremost, do you have to let the police into your home? Well, if they don't have a warrant, you don't have to let them into the home. And do the police at that point have an authority to enter into your home? No, they don't, except, as with all things, there's always exceptions, except if they fear that somebody is in danger. So if they feel that either your wife or you or a child is in danger, the police can then enter on that home on the basis of saying that they're there to protect the person, an individual who may be in danger. That gives them the right to enter. However, once the police enter into your home, that opens up a whole slew of problems, because once they're inside your home, they can look left, right, center, wherever they're standing, and if they see anything out of the ordinary, that gives them further reason to start investigating and going further and further into your home. And so you want to avoid that circumstance at all costs. You don't want the police ever into your home. If the police are dialed by accident or another issue arises that resulted in somebody calling the police, the best way to deal with that would be to have that person who dialed that number present at the door and have them walk out of the house, lock the door behind them, and speak to the police outside the house. There's absolutely no reason, there's no obligation to let the police into your home. Because once they enter into the home, if they see a broken dish, a broken glass, or broken anything for that matter, they will no longer just simply trust your word that it was an accidental dial and nothing happened, and they have an obligation now to investigate as to why there's broken glass, broken chairs, anything. And your explanation that, look, the children were playing around or somebody tripped and may fall on deaf ears, and the next thing you know, you or a loved one is now facing criminal charges. I've had many occasions where a father or a mother will get upset at the conduct of a son, 14, 15 years old, and in order to teach that child a lesson, instead of disciplining them appropriately, they end up calling the police. And in the interim, the child has broken a dish, broken a chair, broken something, and when the police arrive, they see broken stuff. And now they have to investigate, they have an obligation to check why this happened. And that could result in either your child getting charged, or if it's an adult who did it, that person could get charged. So if you want to avoid that, the best way to do that is to deal with the police at the door outside the house. You don't have to invite them in. If you open the door and you invite the police into your home, then the police are now free to look around with their eyes in the spot that they are, and if they see anything at all that is out of the ordinary, that can result in them saying, look, we want to see, we want to investigate, we want to ask questions about what's happening. So the best thing to do if that happens and the police do arrive at your home is to have the person who accidentally dialed, or for whatever reason they dialed the number, meet the police and meet them outside the home and address their questions, and hope that calls the matter, that ends the matter right there. If it doesn't, then you may have other issues to deal with if the police are not stopping. Ultimately, the best way to deal with any of this would be to call a lawyer. Once a 911 has been dialed and you know that the police are on their way or they arrive at your door, a better approach would be simply to open the door and speak to the police again outside the door and say, look, why are you here? What is it that I can help you with? And then say, I'll get back to you if you can just wait there. Go back inside your home, call a lawyer, speak to a criminal lawyer, and then ask your criminal lawyer if he's able or prepared to speak to the police on your behalf. Now, those are the couple of things you could do to avoid getting yourself into bigger problems once the police have arrived at your home.